Hello, YouTube world. I figured I'd jump right into this content creation YouTube thing. Feet first, no agenda, no script, just jump on in. And I wanted to get going by talking about my career and my path in the world of technology. I wanted to start there because one, it's going to be one of the pillars of this channel, right? Talking about technology, talking about careers in technology. And since I've walked the path, maybe helping other people who are interested in walking that path follow. I also am going to talk about things like business or observations about the world, especially in the realm of corporate or government nonsense, things I've seen, right, personally experienced and lived through, and share those experiences with you. And hopefully, by documenting my pitfalls, it can help you avoid some of the mistakes I have made. But for today, we're going to keep it real simple. I'm going to try to keep it real brief. I'm going to talk about my career in technology. Then I'm going to hopefully develop that out over time and expand upon each piece and then help people really follow or forge their own path. So I started out with nothing. I didn't have a degree. I did go to university, but when the military ran out of money or stopped paying for it, I stopped going. So no degree, I'm bouncing around trying to figure out my place in the world. I do sales, I did the military, as I mentioned. I've done a lot of different things, which we'll talk about later. When I really examined the world, I said, who in my friends group or who out of the people I know seems to have a good work-life balance, seems to be making a lot of money. You know, they are able to go out at night, they're owning their own homes, things like that. And a lot of these guys were in tech. And so I reached out to several and I said, hey, how'd you get into this? And they said, well, our recommendation is to learn Linux. That's a good starting point. And I was also at a comic book / game store here in town, and I overheard pretty much a guy with the same query. Hey, how do I get where you are? And the guy who had been in the industry said, you start with Linux, you come down, there's a place here locally called HostGator. You can get on with them, they'll teach you, and from there you can kind of see where your career goes. Well, I ended up getting a tech support job. I didn't know anything about it. I had been dabbling in Linux, right? I had dual booted an old Mac computer, and after I dual booted, I was like, okay, what do I do now? My friend had shown me Jenkins, and we set up some stuff, but I really didn't know what I was doing. So I'm in this tech support job. I'm in over my head. They hire this new guy. He's only there for a couple of months, and he takes off to make $55,000 a year, right? Which back in those days, hey, that was a lot of money. Wow, that guy's super cool. How do I do that? So I just started studying for the Red Hat Certified Engineer exam, and it was like flipping a switch. One day I came into work, and I just closed 100 tickets. I just, boom, overnight, I got really good at my job, and I think I went from making like $12 an hour to $15 an hour. Ended up staying in that tech support role for about 8 months, jumped out of that role and moved into an operations role. The operations role was very difficult. It was overnight, and I probably stayed there for about 8 months, but I just couldn't handle the overnight. And there were some other reasons, but, essentially I was missing out on life. So I decided to move on, bounced around, did some office, IT support, things of that nature. Started really interviewing for these Linux sysadmin jobs. Got misplaced, got put on a help desk, but it was a Windows help desk. So when they asked me to map a drive, I said, well, what do you want to do? Draw the user a map to the drive? I don't understand. I really just, apart from PC gaming, I did not have any clue about Windows systems administration in the least, right? So it's a real bad fit. I think I stayed there for about, 6-7 months, took off, finally was interviewing, got my foot in the door with a junior Linux sysadmin role. The guy said, hey, we don't think you're the most qualified for the role, but we like you the most, so we're going to give you a chance. Awesome. Stayed there for about another 8 months, and then got a very strange offer from a recruiter to be a data engineer. And the title is a little misleading. It was more like a DBA meets customer service meets a cloud. You're getting introduced to the cloud role. But they said, look, as long as you are willing to learn Elasticsearch, we just need someone with some strong Linux skills to come in. And I said, I'm willing to learn anything. For the pay increase was over $20,000 a year. And back in those days, this was still the mid 2000s. It had the flashy office and the kitchen, and it was downtown and all that nonsense that you couldn't pay me to mess with today. At that company, a well-known company in my area, and I'll probably elaborate on all these as we go. I just want to give you guys just the most brief overview. That company offered me a chance to go into kind of an internal university. That internal university, they trained me to be a cloud engineer, and I came in with some advantages. I had been doing cloud work already. I was already familiar with Terraform and Ansible, and I had a strong Linux and Python background. And so the university was really great in that they gave me all the certifications that I could have want. I never had certifications before. I left that little university where it was only about 4 months long with, I think, 5 or 6 brand new certifications. It was amazing. And they only wanted you to get one, but they were willing to pay for however many. So from there, I became a cloud engineer level 2 and stayed at that company for a couple more years. But the raise wasn't that great. See, I went from hourly to salary, and I was already making so close hourly what I would have been, what I did make when I took on the salary, that I wanted to chase a little bit higher number. So I started freelancing, started doing contracts. And so while the numbers were a lot higher, the work-life balance was okay, but if you wanted to take a sick day, that was coming out of your pocket. There was no vacation time, so you were really taking dings. Yes, you had a higher hourly rate, but there were a lot of downsides beyond just finances as well, which, again, brief overview. I'm going to get into all that in other videos. I just want to touch on the journey itself and, say hello to the world of YouTube. So I did that for about 2 or 3 years before a recruiter reached out and offered me the role I'm in now. And I am now a senior cloud engineer. So, with this channel, like I said, one of the pillars is going to be technology. I'm going to talk to you about my past, my journey. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm seeing in the trends and the markets and things like that right now. And I'm going to talk about my future plans. If I stick with this career, moving up into the principal engineer role and things of that nature. We're going to talk about business. I want to talk about business. I've had a lot of failures in my past. I've had some successes. I'm building some businesses. I want to document that journey here. I just also want to talk about just what I see in the world, right? Kind of take a Josh Fluke approach to some of the corporations, right? Coming from a technical perspective, we can examine these corporations and see what they could do better, or even coming at it from the good old days of customer service, which is completely gone. Being like, hey, look how corporate America is changing so much, right? Or even how the government is changing or not adapting fast enough, whichever way you want to look at it. I want to examine all those things and kind of take a Dan Coe approach to all this. Like, hey, you are the niche, but I do have a purpose. So there's a purpose behind this channel. And the purpose behind this channel is financial freedom, right? Freedom first, financial freedom to get you there. So I want to get there, and then maybe I can help other people get there, and who knows, maybe communities form, right? Maybe something bigger comes of this. Essentially, I'm going to do 100 videos, see if I ever get comfortable on camera, because I can tell you right now, I'm not. I probably come off a little monotone. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on getting rid of the filler words like the ums and the ohs and the hems and the haws. And at the end of the 100 days, if pivot or something, we're going to see. But I'm going to do, or not 100 days, 100 videos. I'm going to do 100 videos. I'm going to try to do them not live, right? But in this kind of constant communication with the camera so that I can criticize myself, see where I'm going wrong, catch feedback, and hopefully at the end of that 100 video journey, have something decent here. And hopefully along the way, provide a lot of value to a lot of people. That's the goal, and grow for myself. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, we will cover a wide variety of topics, but today is our first Tech Tuesday. So hello, YouTube world. We'll see you next time.